Today is Cinderella, a film that would change the course of history for Walt Disney and would become the iconic symbol of Walt Disney Productions.
Ooh. And I feel like Walt Disney World.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that.
That French bitch knew what she was doing. What?
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about that French bitch.
I'm just kidding.
Cinderella, the greatest love story ever told. It is based on the folktale The Little Glass Slipper, dating all the way back to ancient Greece, actually. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, now you do.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Fancy.
Starts all the way back in 1922, way before we watched Disney Podcast catalog. 1922 was actually the year of Walt's first attempt at adapting Cinderella.
Oh.
He, let's see, he tried it in the form of like a short in the Laugh-O-Gram studio series that he did, which was before he started his own company, selling it to like local, local radio and TV production, that kind of stuff. From there, he was interested again in producing it a second attempt, and this time he had the idea of doing it as a silly symphony.
Oh, thank God he didn't.
Yeah.
They even began production on it. They assigned a director and everything. However, by 1938, it was ultimately decided that the story was too complicated to be a short, and it took them 6 years, I guess, to come to this realization, so they stopped making a silly symphony.
I mean, it is kind of complicated for sure.
Well, yeah, those silly symphonies are like 10 minutes long. I mean, condensing this movie to 10 minutes would have probably been terrible.
No mice.
No mice.
No mice.
Yeah.
No
Mice
mice, no
were the
dice.
best part. One of the best parts.
Gus Gus.
Yeah.
It was then suggested as a potential animated feature film, and by 1943 they began work on a story. Interestingly enough, the story of the film went through a lot of changes, including originally having the stepsisters named Wanda and Javot.
Can you spell the second one?
Yeah.
Javotte.
Java.
Javat.
Javat.
Javat. Wanda and Javat.
I just think of Cosmo and Wanda.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cinderella having a pet mouse named Dusty and a pet turtle named Clarissa.
Clarissa.
Yeah, Clarissa the turtle. By 1945, the production halted again until 1947, where the first storyboarding began. This time, a different approach is taken, and it's story largely through the eyes of animals in the barnyard and their observations of Cinderella day-to-day activities, which is pretty much what we get in the final form.
Yeah, kind of.
Kinda. It's like two halves, really. You got the story of the mice, and Lucifer, and then the story of Cinderella and the stepsisters.
Yeah.
That fucking cat.
Yeah.
They're always villainizing cats.
I know. They really did, because his eyes were green, too. They were really purposely villainizing him.
I don't know if he's ever said anything. I have a theory that Walt Disney fucking hated cats. Because, like, early on, cats are always trash in, like, Disney stuff.
I know. And if anybody really has cats, they know that they're the sweetest little babies.
I know. They're just independent, and if you can't get on board with that, you're just insecure in your own life. That's really what it is.
Let them know. That's right.
You have a really bad attachment style.
Following the release of Fun and Fancy Free, a package film that we skipped because it just didn't look interesting, Walt Disney Productions...
Great.
Well, I mean, was anyone pining for it?
No.
All right, so I made my call. Exactly.
No.
But following the package film, Walt Disney Productions had a total debt of $3 million.
Oh, no.
Disney ultimately
Me
had...
too.
Taking your cats in bed.
Wow,
Yeah.
Disney's just like me. Disney ultimately had to make a decision. The package films that they were churning out during this time, like Ichabod and Mr. Toad and Melody Time as well, they were not digging them out of their debt. They were cheaper to throw together and combined everything, given that the overseas market was virtually non-existent due to World War II, but profit-wise, it wasn't doing them any favors.
Well, really, who the fuck is gonna come out to see Ichabod? Not me.
I wouldn't have.
Nope.
No.
And Mr. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
See, Mr. Toad, maybe. Maybe.
But then you would
We
have
have
got there.
choices nowadays,
Yeah.
though, so they didn't have too many choices back
Okay,
in
you're
the day
not wrong.
either,
You're not
so.
wrong.
Then you would have got there and you would have been like, this sucks.
Yeah. I want to see this tall, skinny man.
Yeah, lanky motherfucker.
Yeah.
But with the war over by this point, Disney expressed his desire to loners to... Oh, you're singing Christmas music.
Oh.
He expressed his desire to loners to return to making full-length feature films. With that, 3 animated projects are given the green light. There's Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan.
Hillary's counting along.
How many is that?
3.
Okay, so I was right. All right, I wanted to make sure. More on the last 2 in future episodes, but Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland are actually being created simultaneously, with Cinderella ultimately progressing further along quicker. So it gets an out of being Disney's first feature film in 8 years.
What was the last feature film then? Snow White?
No.
Pinocchio?
Bambi.
Dumbo?
Bambi.
Oh, yeah, it was Bambi.
Yeah.
That was the last one we watched.
I actually wrote it here. It's right here. I don't know why I didn't just read that. How was the film received upon its release? As you can imagine, it did incredibly well. Critics praised the animation, the storytelling, the imaginative art and glowing colors, and the gentle tone of the story without the needing for like horrifying looking villains. The touches of humor and the music were also appealing to both audiences that were old and young. So it kind of hit you look a little.
Where was their humor?
Well, I guess the mice are supposed to be humorous.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
you
And
know.
like the cat.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, all right.
However, interestingly enough, the character of Cinderella was met with a mixed reception. Some film critics described the character as much too passive and one-dimensional, and less interesting than the film's supporting characters. You have an opinion on that? You're thinking about it.
I think that this is why you asked me when we watched it the other day how I feel about her. I think that she's just a very kind-hearted person. And she just, like, she goes through life realizing that, you know, shit sucks. But, like, she lost a lot of people, right? Like, she
I'd
lost
say
her,
so.
she lost her parents, and she was, you know, sad about that. And, like, really, what else can you do? I think she just kind of tried to look on the bright side.
I guess critics didn't really find her character all that interesting to them.
Well, you know what? Critics suck.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, like, of course she's not going to be interesting. Like, the stepmother and the stepsisters, they make her their personal assistant to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is she supposed to act? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
like,
Like,
have
she's
any
like a
time for
prisoner in
herself.
her own home.
Actually,
Like,
all things considered, she actually acts pretty well.
yeah.
But that's a good point, Alex, because it's like when you think about it, like when you read, all right, I'm just going to use this as an example.
Yeah.
Like when you read Pride and Prejudice, right? There's like, so the house, I mean, this applies elsewhere, obviously, but like the household that they live in, like has help, right? You know, there's actually a whole like secondary written book from the perspective of the help. And like, you wouldn't know that. Like, you don't go into stories like this with, like, the help having personality. They're just the people who are there who, like, do food and, like, you know, clean and, like, things like that. So it's like, Cinderella is that character. You're just giving her a voice and making her the focal point because it happens to be about her. But, like, she's not supposed to have a strong personality because she is essentially the help.
Yeah.
Well,
So that was a good point.
I also think it's interesting because I feel like if it wasn't for the live action Cinderella, which I know we're obviously not doing now, I feel like the live action Cinderella gave her a lot more personality than this one. And I feel like it's interesting. I didn't know that the critics thought that when this movie came out because I feel like they probably tried to add more personality to
think
her
you're right.
because of that.
Yeah.
they did that with the Prince too. I saw that because
Yeah.
they originally had the idea for the Prince Charming to give him to have that hunting background, but they were gonna pay it off as like he's not actually really a hunter. Like he's like friends with the deer that he was like hunting, and they have a laugh about it because they fooled everybody. But
And
then
then when he comes home with nothing.
but in the live action one, they incorporated the prince's love for hunting
Yeah.
to that character. So they like have like pieces from way back in 1950 that they brought into the new live action one.
Interesting.
So it is interesting.
Yeah, because he has no personality in this at all.
He doesn't have a
Right.
name.
He doesn't have a name.
No.
Yeah.
Charming.
Yeah.
Yep.
So nonetheless, the character of Cinderella has become probably one of the most famous Disney characters, princesses. I think when most people picture a Disney princess, they probably picture Cinderella as maybe the one.
Yeah, probably. Too bad she has no ears.
She's got no ears, so she can't hear
No
all the
toes.
praise. No toes either. But she becomes the second Disney princess, joining Snow White, and her glass slipper is probably one of the more popular Disney props to this day. They still use it with, you know, like for promotions and stuff like that. I think it's in the castle, maybe in Disney World.
In
Maybe.
Disneyland, it definitely is because there's like a whole thing, but that's Sleeping Beauty.
Wasn't there that museum when we went to? Didn't they have a?
They
That was the
did.
slipper from the live action.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think her slipper is like on display in Florida.
Okay. Well, you can find in the glass blowing shop. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
they have one there.
Yeah.
But it's one of Disney's more recognizable props that they've had in any of their movies. At the box office, we mentioned the $3 million debt that Disney had at this time. Well, it earned $4.28 million in distributor rentals and was the 5th highest grossing film in the year of 1950.
Wow.
It cost $2.2 million to make, and for a lifetime world gross amount, $182 million from its original release.
Can someone
Wow.
explain to me how this movie cost that much to make?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm just, and I'm not like saying that people shouldn't get paid because obviously they should.
Because it took so long to make.
I guess time is really the
Right.
biggest thing when it comes to like animation.
I'm just questioning like, so like when they talk about that, are they referring to like the salaries of the animators? Are they talking about like material?
Probably
Like what are they talking about?
Like spent on like different filming techniques as well. I imagine it's that kind of stuff.
I'm
as
just
well.
curious because
Maybe
like
even just like overhead like space to actually do the work. I know they have their own studios, but like maybe they factor that stuff in. I don't know.
maybe I was just curious because like I just like when you hear about it today with like a live action movie, it makes sense because you're like, okay, I have to pay all the actors, I have to pay like like
Set
everybody.
design.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's way more intricate, but this is just like an animated film, and I'm sure they're very labor intensive. But I just fail to see how in 1950
You know
it
what?
costs that much. Like I don't get it.
By the next episode, I will get an answer for you.
Yeah, I'm just
of why
curious.
that is.
Maybe they used expensive paints.
Maybe.
There you got that Bob Ross paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, all right, so I mentioned why this film would change the course of Disney, and here it is. The success of Cinderella allowed Disney to carry on producing films throughout the 50s. They would earn additional money to help them out through record sales, music publishing, publications, and other merchandise. That cash flow allows Disney to finance a slate of films like we discussed before and establish their own distribution company known as Buena Vista Pictures. They also entered television production and began building Disneyland during this decade, as well as developing the Florida Project, which is
Disney World.
That's right. So this film, along with other films as well, it gets them out of debt, and it really kicks them into another gear with like expanding into other territories.
Wow, if we didn't have Cinderella, we wouldn't have any of this. We wouldn't even be sitting here.
That's right. We'd be
Probably not.
discussing
Thanks, Cindy.
some other.
Silly Symphony.
Yeah, we just over and over again. We do all the silly symphonies.
Oh, no.
All 75 of them.
And we wouldn't have a castle.
That's right. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, but it went 0 for 3. It didn't take any of them home. Best scoring of a musical picture, best sound recording, and best original song, which was Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, but that lost out. Rotten Tomatoes has a certified fresh rating of 98 amongst critics and 80 among audiences, with a consensus reading the rich colors, the sweet songs, the adorable mice, and endearing, if suffering, heroine makes Cinderella a nostalgically lovely charmer. So they disagreed with that whole boring Cinderella mindset. Also to note, Cinderella, like we mentioned, would go on to have a live-action remake in 2015 with Lily James as Cinderella.
I love that one.
It's my favorite
I
live
know.
action remake.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's still, after all these remakes that they've done, I still think it's at the top.
Yeah,
Their
but
first
so
one.
many people don't like it.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't like
though.
it.
I
I
don't
don't think
know
I've ever
why.
seen that one.
It's
I've only seen it
That one I don't
finding
think
it
I've
because
seen.
it's not on.
like I
Disney
saw it in
Plus.
the
I know.
movies, and I was like, that was just Like I never. Maybe I would feel different if I watched it again.
Aw.
But I just never had the like, what's the word? Desire to watch it again after that. After the first time I saw it.
That's so sad. I really liked it, but you're right. It is not on Disney Plus, which
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Either.
I don't
Because
even
it's
know
on
where.
Stars right now. And finally, as we always do in the parks, you could just throw out anything where you can find Cinderella because it's pretty much everywhere.
I've never seen Cinderella in the parks.
No? All right,
She's
well,
at that German place.
perfect. Yeah.
Akershus. No, I've never seen her or any of her memorabilia or any landmarks
Okay.
at all.
It's a little hard to find, but if you go to Magic Kingdom, you know Main Street? End of Main Street.
End of Main Street. Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking down.
Yeah.
Don't look at the train. Turn
Okay.
around. There's a giant castle.
I think you're
You
lying.
gotta look hard.
198 feet tall. or
I've never
something
seen
like
that.
You gotta look hard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's there. All right.
How
well,
tall is it?
It's pretty tall.
What color is it? How will I know? Does it have a sign?
They just recently painted it.
Yeah. Ask around when you get there.
I'm
the
gonna
cast
ask. I'm gonna do that.
Oh, and also for clarity, it's Cinderella Castle, not Cinderella's castle.
member. That's very important.
Okay, so you know what's gonna happen on our vlog that we do?
We do a vlog, yeah.
Little plug.
But you didn't say it.
I'm going to. We went to Disney.
There you go.
I'm gonna ask some cast members where I can find Cinderella Castle. And we're gonna see. So follow up there, please. Next time we go.
I will. If we go together, I will do that with you. Just random.
Yeah,
that'd
like,
be great.
I'm gonna have to
I'm the
ask.
one with the next Disney trip, and I'm not doing that one.
No,
That's okay. That's
well, we
okay.
should just go stand in front of the
Hi,
castle and be like,
Do you know where Cinderella Castle is?
Yeah, like where can I find that? I hear that there is a castle here, but I am not.
I don't
seeing
see it anywhere.
That'll be funny.
I do have dinner at Cinderella's royal table. I don't know where that is.
I've never been there. Have you been there?
I just want to see their
Have you?
reactions.
No. They'll
you
be
been
like,
To where?
Cinderella's royal table.
Turn around. You see that?
It's
Do you feel like it's
No.
worth it?
I think it's worth the experience.
Like to do it once?
Not the food.
But not
It's better with
Thank you.
kids.
It's better with kids.
It's
that's
better
true.
with kids, but it's really cute. Their breakfast is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's
I've never
low-key.
done it before.
I think that the consensus on character meals, like across the board, is that any character meal is always better at breakfast than it
Yeah.
is with anything else.
I think so,
Any other
too.
meal.
You know, years ago, Kodak named Cinderella Castle the most photographed building in the world.
Yes, I did know that actually.
Okay, did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I'm not
Okay.
surprised.
You
Yeah.
ask her from that.
Yeah, sorry.
Ask Victoria anything about
Yeah.
Disney because she knows it all.
I don't know, she's just always right here, so I always just like look to my left for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why.
We gotta change his seating up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
But
That's a
there's
big boy.
also Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
at the Grand Floridian too.
Yeah.
I think they just closed it at the Grand Floridian, didn't
Oh,
they?
really?
And the Disney Springs one, I believe, is
I was
closed.
gonna say the one in Disney Springs is
Yeah,
definitely closed.
I'm pretty sure they. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 85%
I know
sure.
it's still operating as like a regular salon too. I don't know if they're doing the Bibbidi
Yeah.
Bobbidi Boutique though. Huh.
How about Cinderella's Royal Suite?
Never been there.
Well,
Listen,
probably nobody. Not
What everybody should know about me is that if I die and I have not stayed in that suite, I'm haunting every human being on this planet.
You don't even know where it is because you never even heard of the castle.
What?
Hold
I'm about
on.
to say, how do you know the room?
Listen.
It honestly doesn't really look that great. Like I'd rather stay at the Riviera.
Oh my god.
But it's the special.
The
feeling
mosaic
of it,
in the
yeah.
bathroom over the tub?
It looks so outdated.
I don't know if we said it. There's
It's supposed to look.
a
Yeah,
suite
I'm a
in the
castle.
castle that you can. If you're lucky enough, you can stay there. They used to do like it was like a million. It was like a raffle.
They did. They chose random guests during like the year of like 100 Wishes or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that when they had that going on. But that was a long time ago, and they would choose a family to go and stay there for the night. And then there
One night though, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, you never can stay there more than one
No,
night, which
and-
makes like it not appealing to me. 'cause
Well,
then
I would
you gotta-
not sleep.
You gotta pack your stuff and then
Yeah.
leave, and like you can't be in there during the fireworks. Like, come on.
I just wouldn't be able to sleep. I would just be up like taking pictures and basking.
You gotta
and
savor
selfies.
every moment.
Yeah,
of
like
this.
I would be
Yeah.
like, fuck sleep.
Oh, that's
but-
where her slipper is. Her glass slipper is in her suite.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. But then they also did a sweepstakes for a night in the castle, and it goes on intermittently with. I forget who it's with.
I think the sweepstakes
It's-
going on right now.
Is there? It's
Like a
on-
children's. I think it's
It's like
Give Kids the World.
Yeah, yeah,
Foundation.
you're right because I
Yeah.
get emails from them. Yes, and it's it goes on and off, but I never hear about anybody winning it. So
So what you're saying is you can't just be like, oh, I want to stay there,
No.
even if it's millions. You'll be like, okay, and like you have
Yeah.
to like do it through one of these.
yeah,
can't pay
correct.
any
Yeah,
amount.
there's
Gotcha.
no like price tag on the
Okay.
on the night.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure that some people.
Bro.
I don't know. I feel like celebrities probably would have gone if they could, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's one of those things that really should stay like
Once in a million
Yeah.
chance.
like I don't think that they should ever make it like available to book.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
I agree.
even the celebs.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to be Walt's apartment or something?
No, that's on Main Street.
That's Main Street. Was
Um,
it Roy's?
Wasn't
Well,
that
that's in
Disneyland?
Disneyland, and it's above the fire station.
And that
That
was
was-
his apartment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I think they still keep it that way.
They
I
do.
think
They keep the
maybe-
light on.
They keep the light on. Can you stay there?
No,
You
You
can't
can go
stay-
up
okay.
there and visit it.
I don't think so.
That would be cool, like an inside tour.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what like Club 33 people can do. Maybe they can go. I
yeah,
don't
they're
know.
on a different level. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, apparently.
Other than that, there's a million Cinderella references in the parks, but I do want to also point out the characters that you can meet, specifically Drizella and Anastasia.
Oh, they're so fun.
I think they're my favorite
They're
characters
funny.
to meet in the
They
whole
are.
park.
So last time we went, you were in the bathroom. I was by myself. They were walking around behind the castle that I can't see. And I have a tattoo on my arm of my 3 cats. And they walked by and I said hi and they saw my tattoo and they freaked out and they were like, oh my God. And then they said I should get Lucifer like really big right underneath. And they were like, you have to show, and they it was really cute. It was funny.
Aw.
Yeah.
They are really like interactive and their
We passed them
personalities.
last time we were there too. Behind
remember.
the castle. We were just getting off of Snow White.
You didn't
Seven
go say
Dwarfs Mine
hi?
Train?
And no, they were walking past us and just creating havoc.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
funny.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
Well, I think you said it when you were watching it, and I had the same thought. I was like, I forgot how ugly they make them look in the movie.
Yeah, they take
Yeah.
liberties with
Yeah.
this too.
I'm like, wow. Like, I was like, ooh. Like,
Yeah.
They just need to learn how to blend.
A little bit.
All right. Cinderella, released on February 15th in 1950 in Boston and then to the rest of the world on March 4th, 1950. Rated G and has a runtime on Disney Plus of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 30 seconds. Directed by Wilfred Jackson, Hamilton Lusk, and Clyde Geronimi. Music by Oliver Wallace and Paul Smith. Starring Eileen Woods, Eleanor Audley, Verna Felton, Rhoda Williams, Lucille Bliss, and William Edward Phipps. Cue the overture and the opening credits. Our first song plays, which is Cinderella.
You're looking at me like I was going to answer that, and I blanked.
Well, it's actually just called main title, but like
I loved the opening credits. They were so pretty.
They were pretty.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it took so long to make, or cost so much money to make.
Maybe.
Opening credits.
Yeah, well, because like
Wow.
I feel like the artist, like the
It was very
flower, it was
intricate.
very
Yeah.
it
It was
pretty.
very
And they
nice.
did have a book, a live action book that opened.
Yeah, we get the
They did.
fairy tale book opening, and our narrator starts. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny kingdom, peaceful, prosperous, and rich in romance and tradition.
I mean, like they're talking about France, but okay.
Yeah, they didn't want to say France. By the way, the narrator here is Betty Lou Gerson, who is more recognizable as the voice of Cruella de Vil.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah, well, now you know.
Damn.
I have to rewatch it.
You got to listen.
Cruella.
You're like, wow, that's Cruella de Vil. That's crazy.
Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil.
He doesn't scare you. No evil thing will.
We were supposed to tap to that in our thing,
And you
she,
didn't?
she cut it. She's cutting it.
Rude.
We then see a chateau where a widowed gentleman and his daughter, Cinderella, live. Yeah.
I was just going to say, in this movie, they make her name Cinderella, but her name's not actually Cinderella. Her name is Ella.
Which they do address that in the live action.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cinderella's father is a very kind and caring man who gives his daughter whatever she may need, but yet he still feels the need for a mother's care, something he cannot provide.
Which, like, in hindsight,
He didn't even do that.
wrong.
Yeah, he made it worse.
He did.
So he married his second wife, Lady Tremaine, who has 2 daughters of her own that are Cinderella's age, Drizella and Anastasia. Unfortunately for Cinderella, her father also has an untimely death, leaving Cinderella in the care of her stepmother, whose true nature is now revealed.
A little suspicious, if you ask me.
Oh, you think Lady Tremaine could read the writing on the wall?
Maybe.
killed her. Killed him. Maybe.
Maybe.
I really need a Lady Tremaine backstory. That's all. Like, how did her husband die?
How do you know he's dead?
Because
Ooh,
they
two
said that she
families?
was also widowed. I think they said.
Well, how do you know that, though?
Maybe she
just
killed
said
him.
that.
Jealous over her kind nature and natural beauty, Lady Tremaine made it a point to favor her daughters at the expense of Cinderella. Additionally, the chateau has fallen into despair, and the family fortunes were squandered on the stepsisters.
I mean, like, and they still have ugly-ass clothes.
Yeah. They put
Just saying.
none of that money into, cosmetic surgery or...
You would
Anything
think,
like
right?
that.
Like,
Yeah.
Or just, like, I don't know. Anything.
see the size of their feet?
Let's see the size of it.
Stand up the size of your
sorry.
feet.
Oh, they don't know, man.
bulbous toes.
They were nuts. Bigger than my feet.
Did they ever say how old they are all supposed to be? The like Cinderella and the
Well, usually-
stepsisters?
Usually in these kind of stories, I feel like they're
They're
usually
young, right?
15.
Like 16.
I feel like she
15,
was
yeah.
like 15 or 16. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah.
Why her curfew is midnight.
That's kind of late for a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
True.
You ready to be a dad? Speak home by midnight. Cinderella is forced to become a servant in her own house to her stepmother and stepsisters. However,
And the cat.
And the cat. However, Cinderella never lost her spirit, and she continued to hope that someday her dreams of happiness would come true.
Wow.
Narrator bows out, and Cinderella awakens on a new day. Cinderella is voiced by Eileen Woods, who actually had a pretty interesting story regarding the character in this movie. She was chosen from 310 auditions.
Wow.
Okay.
An audition that she didn't even know that she auditioned for.
Oh.
She was friends with Mac David and Jerry Livingston, two songwriter friends who called her to sing Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, A Dream is a Wish That Your Heart Makes, and So This Is Love. The songs were then presented to Walt, and 2 days later she found out about the audition when Walt asked her to voice the character.
So what? She just thought they just had her sing for fun?
Yeah, they just recorded her, like, friendly recording, and then they passed it along to Walt, and Walt chose her.
Wait, so she's the
Okay.
one that sang those songs too?
Yeah, she sings the songs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, she
I
doesn't
knew-
end up singing Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say
No,
fairy
no,
godmother
yeah.
does.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, but I'm saying Eileen is the one that voiced it.
For
Voiced
Cinderella.
for her own songs.
Yes.
Like the Cinderella songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't. Oh, okay.
Not
Yeah.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Okay.
And then to sort of bookend this with a bittersweet ending, Eileen Woods later on in her life, she suffered from Alzheimer's disease, in which she did not even remember doing the voice of Cinderella.
Oh, that's so sad.
But nurses claim that she was very much comforted by the song "A Dream Is the Wish That Your Heart Makes."
Oh.
So a little bit of nice ending there.
Even if they're lying, I just like knowing that.
I'm gonna take their word.
Yeah.
Who are you to question them?
I don't know.
How dare you?
Birds enter her room and chirp to her to wake up.
Shit all over her bed.
Take that shit off. Cinderella then tells the birds that she was having a lovely dream, but
Get the
cannot.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
She's having a lovely dream, but she cannot say what it's about, because then her dream wouldn't come true. Because after all, a dream is a wish that your heart makes, which happens to be our next song.
When you're fast asleep.
Yeah. So the song serves as the inspiration for Cinderella's hope, as her dreams are of happiness, which she wishes will come one day in her miserable life that she's living.
I just want to talk about like her shower situation. That looks fucking cold.
Yeah, and where's the drain? Is there no drain?
No, there's no drain.
Oh, maybe the birds like drink her dirty bath water and just like take
That
it
is
Oh,
Hey, water's water, right?
I guess so.
The song is actually pretty similar to When You Wish Upon a Star, both equating a dream to that of a wish.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a connection there as well. Do you like the song? Anyone?
I like the song.
Yeah.
This song is always stuck in my head.
I like this song, I think, the most out of all of them. And I actually think this is a better Cinderella song than, like, So This Is Love.
Oh yeah.
Like,
me
I think
too.
this one's more impressive, personally. You disagree?
I don't have an opinion.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So This Is Love really sounds like a poem, not even a song.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's no beat to it.
So
It's not a bop. A dream is a wish your heart makes is a bop. That is not.
So
No, you know it's about
Bippity boppity boo.
yeah.
It has
I
a
like-
bop in it.
Cinderella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a bop too.
Little mice
Make
voices.
the fire, do the dishes, do the washing.
Her song concludes with the sound of a bell chime, much to Cinderella's displeasure.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wait, the clock bell or
Was this the bell at the castle waking?
Yeah, it was the
okay.
clock.
All right. So it's the clock tower.
Because then
bell.
she talks about the clock and she's like, he said, get up, you say. It's time to start another day.
Well, she gets out of bed
So
and
I
does
feel
start her
every
day.
day. I'm like, oh.
And her day consists of chores around the house all
Listen,
day, every day.
She will never have heart disease.
It's the silver
always
lining.
moving.
Yeah. We then meet the first of the two main mice in the film, Jock. He informs Cinderella that there is a new mouse in the house that has been caught in the mousetrap on the stairs.
Octavius.
how did the mousetrap work? I just want to know. It
That's a good question too. Yeah.
Being very, well versed in mousetraps.
Our mousetrap expert over here. Yeah.
How come you're not making them little outfits
That would be great.
Well, because
and naming them?
they're already dead.
You don't want to name it when they're dead.
Yeah, you can't be having attachment. When
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
How do we get Gus from Octavius?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I guess the us.
Octavius. Gus.
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 And
Like
but there's no G.
Good.
Maybe she just wanted him to have a fancy name, but was like, nah, he's
Well-
a Gus. I mean, he doesn't look like an Octavius to me.
No.
No, he's a heavier set mouse in Cinderella.
Just say
just
what
saying
it
what
is.
it
He's fat.
He's the
Thick
fat
as fuck.
mouse.
He's-
Be a little bit of a
he's
chubber.
Had a little
So what's
too
the-
much cheese.
What I noticed with the clothes that he got,
Yeah.
it was Dopey's colors.
Was it? Didn't
Look
even
at
notice.
you picking
And
up on all these like
I asked
Easter
Alex, I was
eggs.
like, do you think it's Dopey's colors because he's a little, like, slow? And I asked Alex that, and I was like, out of curiosity, because they made Dopey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was pretty dopey. Like,
He was
He was a
dopey.
little dopey, yeah.
And I said, I don't know.
And Alex might, you should bring that up to Dan tomorrow.
I totally was.
I was like, that's
yeah, it
I don't
reminded me of
know.
Dopey.
Write it down, Gilly.
Cinderella goes downstairs and tells Jock to warn Gus about the cat.
Which, by the way, she sleeps in the attic.
Cinderella.
It's
yes.
important to note.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
That she goes a lot up and down a lot of
A
steps.
lot of
Yeah.
stairs, yeah.
They seem a little, rickety.
Yes.
I know. I was looking for like the support beams and stuff, and I was like,
I was looking for the support beams in the animation.
I was looking at the architectural integrity of the staircase.
Right.
You gotta use parallel beams to support that dumb shit.
Do they have any flying buttresses in the house?
They have any what?
Flying buttresses.
What is that?
Oh my God, Dan! We went to the same
what?
art school. We were in the same art history class, and
a
we
flying
studied
buttress?
Notre Dame. You know what a flying buttress is?
I don't remember that.
All right,
Please just Google search it. Image.
Alex is so sick of me.
No, I'm not.
she just feels bad that
yes,
people
yeah.
yelling at him now.
Damn it, Dan!
No!
She's like, yeah, I'm
These
with
are
you, Dan. I
flying
didn't know what it is.
buttresses.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the name of that.
Oh,
But
that.
yeah.
Hold on, I'll pull it up for everybody. Ready? Flying buttress. It's the slanty thing.
Oh, I thought it was those things in the Wizard of Oz. Do you know those like flying monkeys?
I thought it was.
I didn't know how.
I thought it was a thing from SpongeBob.
I don't know how it applied to this, but
The
I thought it was
flying
the flying
duchess.
monkey.
The monkey's chain, the monkey's fists, the monkey. So they warn Gus about the cat. That cat would be Lucifer, who is Lady Tremaine's mean-spirited, rather large cat. Should I call him
He's
that?
no
too? Yeah,
larger.
okay.
I was looking at him when I was watching the movie, and I was like, "That's Malachi." Like, look at him. He
This
looks like
cat, it
Lucifer.
seems like. Well, he's good. He's such a little love. It seems like they trained that cat to be a little bit nasty.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel bad for Lucifer because he had to be the first one to wake up. To be,
I
like, he didn't
know.
want to wake up, but
I
she's like,
know.
it's the orders, and he was like,
Oh, yeah. Why did they do that? Do you think?
because Lady Tremaine was selfish and didn't want to have to wake up early. I don't know.
I mean, like,
But he was so mean to the dog. Torturing the dog.
So I forgot I actually wrote this down. So I think it's actually known that Walt did not like cats. Because the story of how Lucifer was modeled is he's modeled after animator Walt Kimball's cat. Ward Kimball's cat, I'm sorry. They described Ward's cat as a plump, six-toed calico named Feetsy. Ward was having trouble coming up with...
it is
matter?
actually
Like
feetsy.
a cramp
No,
under my
no.
chin.
I thought you were laughing at the cat named Feetsy. But she's just like,
DC with 6 toes.
Literally from like here down for a second.
and then I was like,
Pull a muscle in
Felt
your
so
jaw.
tight.
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
somebody know CPR?
I know CPR. I can save her.
Ward was actually having trouble coming up with the design for Lucifer until Walt came over to visit him at his home. Walt was not very fond of cats, which is, I think aside from the Aristocats, every cat sucks in Disney.
Yeah.
But Feetsy kept brushing up against Walt's leg throughout the conversation, and Walt finally said, Kimbrel, you've got your Lucifer right here.
Oh,
All the cat was doing was trying to get some
So
love.
then they modeled Lucifer after this plump, six-toed calico.
Aww.
Gus is not too threatened by Lucifer, and Jock warns him how mean he is. Down in the kitchen, Cinderella and Lucifer find a sleeping Bruno, which is her pet dog.
You know what? It's interesting that his name is Bruno. It's another Bruno in the Disney World. Anyways,
Two
We're
Brunos.
gonna talk about Bruno.
sorry.
Lucifer and Bruno do not...
Silencio Bruno.
That's 3 Brunos! Oh my god. Lucifer and Bruno do not get along as they are cat and dog, so obviously why would they? Bruno is not allowed out of the kitchen due to his conflicts with Lucifer. Lucifer then tricks Cinderella into thinking that Bruno attacked him, causing Bruno to be put outside.
Poor Bruno.
Outside, Cinderella feeds all the chickens and hens.
I love that scene.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know why. I just think it's so cute the way the chickens just like run and try to get the whole food.
I like that scene because it's cozy and you're like shrunk down to the size of a mouse.
Oh yeah, that too. I really like. I like chickens. I would love
Me
to
too.
have like pet
Look
chickens.
it up.
I want chickens and
Yeah.
goats.
I don't know about goats.
Ah, they're like, then you never need to mow your lawn, but you're not going to have a lawn anyway, so I guess it's fine.
You're right. I'm not because lawns are not good for the environment.
I know,
so.
I agree.
The mice rush downstairs to try and get some food.
Confused.
Lawn grass, like the way that like
America,
U.S. suburbs have it. It's like they're not good for the environment because it's not indigenous grass.
And you
And
waste
it-
so much water.
Yeah,
and
it takes a lot of
chemicals.
water. There's a lot of chemicals, and it's not. It doesn't like support the natural like ecosystem of our country.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Michael's like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna have a nice lawn.
The mice rush downstairs to try and get some food, but they're stopped in their tracks when they spot Lucifer.
Beast.
They come up with the strategy of one of them going out there and distracting him and getting him to chase them all around, while the others sneak out and the decoy hides in the wall, and the others go get food.
I love how many like mouse holes there are in this
I
movie.
Oh, they're all over the place in the house. Yeah.
And I also just want to know, how does Lady Tremaine like sleep at night, knowing that there's all these like?
I don't think she
Does
gives
she
a
not
crap.
hear them?
Here's your architectural discussion. The structural integrity of this house must be just paper thin.
I know.
Because there's holes everywhere, and the mice can just go anywhere, poke out little beams, and like poke through the little.
know.
Yeah. So. it's
They
gonna fall.
even. This is going way farther down, but like when they're going to get the beads, I think there's even like hinges
Yeah.
on that part, like
Yep.
of the wall that opens. It's like they built it for the mice.
I know.
There's an entire world inside the walls of the house.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
me too. I do too.
And they're like Bruno living in the walls.
You think they built the castle like that?
Do you think they built a castle like that?
Yeah, in Disney?
What castle?
Oh,
The one that's not there.
yeah.
The one that we still have to find.
We'll show you one day the castle. Yeah. So they draw strings in the form of their tails, but Jock draws the last tail, making him the guinea pig. He sneaks out and kicks Lucifer's arm, causing him to fall face first into his own bowl of milk. Lucifer then chases Jock all around the kitchen, allowing the other mice to sneak out into the yard. Cinderella then feeds the mice cheese, but Gus Gus is too slow, causing all the chickens to eat the cheese first.
That's not cheese. That's corn
Yeah, it was
kernels.
Oh, was it corn kernels?
Corn kernels.
Corn kernels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's too slow. And the chickens
Because
eat
he's
all of
fat.
them.
I thought it was cheese too.
They're mice. I
Overwhelmed.
mean,
it was like his first. It was
Yeah.
they give mice cheese.
You know, it's a
His
very
first
common
time.
misconception. Mice don't actually like cheese.
Educate
They
me
like
on
peanut
mice,
butter.
Hillary. Go ahead.
I put peanut butter on the traps
Yeah, they like peanut butter.
So why don't they like cheese?
because of the dairy.
They don't like dairy?
The
It's not
dairy will
good
get
for
there.
them.
Do they know that?
Maybe.
Because like
Um,
dairy's not good for Oliver, but he likes cheese.
I know. Well, it's the same thing. Like dairy's not good for cats.
Okay, we have to test this. You're gonna put cheese in your next mouse trap.
I'll
and
let
see
you
if it
know how
catches
many
them.
I catch. I'll ask the exterminator.
You're gonna
next
have
time.
3 on one trap. Watch.
I just want to know. I'm just curious. Maybe they have a preference.
You know why they put peanut butter on traps though?
because it's sticky.
It's sticky.
Oh,
it
mice
doesn't
tend
come
to
off.
prefer foods that are higher in carbohydrates. Chocolate may be more effective. House mice are indiscriminate and will consume any food source available to them.
So there you go.
So that's house mice. But like, what do you?
Cheese whiz.
So do you not think that your mice are house mice?
Your pet mouse shouldn't be eating cheese or any other dairy product for that matter. It contains no nutritional value for mice, and the empty calories promote weight gain.
Oh, that's see, he's eating cheese. He's a fat mouse.
That you know what? You're right. Maybe.
Damn it, Gus. Lay off the
Gus.
cheese.
Poor Octavius.
Too much cheese.
Cinderella shoos away the chickens and personally gives Gus a giant pile of corn for him to take back with him. Back inside the kitchen, Jock is still distracting Lucifer. Gus is the last of the bunch and ends up dropping all his corn.
Because he tried to pick all of it up. He was greedy. He should have just picked up what he could carry.
His eyes were bigger than his stomach.
I don't think that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, he just had a big appetite.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh. Ooh. Candy.
This catches Lucifer's attention and he sneaks up on Gus. But before he can grab him, Jock knocks over a broom, which falls on top of Lucifer's head, causing him to get away. But he ends up on top of the table near all
the teacups.
The teacups.
And he hides in a teacup.
Yeah. And when he hides in the teacup, one of the bells in the kitchen rings, and one of the stepsisters is calling out for Cinderella.
And then they all start calling for her.
Yeah, so they're awake now. They're ready to start.
They're
their
like,
day.
fuck yeah, let's go. It's 11 a.m.
Tea time.
Yeah.
She prepares 3 sets of breakfast for Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters, but Gus is still trapped underneath one of the cups that Cinderella brings up to
And
the
Lucifer
trail.
knows it.
And Lucifer's following behind him.
He's like, heck yeah, I'm going to get this mouse.
Yeah. So Cinderella carries the 3 trays of morning tea and soup up the stairs, balancing one on her head. And a bit of foreshadowing here, as she's carrying the 3 trays up the stairs, she loses her right shoe on the stairs. Mm-hmm. So that's one time that's happened.
She needs better fitting shoes.
Yeah.
Everybody gets her shoe size wrong.
Yeah. Cinderella drops off the first breakfast to Drizella, and Drizella orders her to do her laundry and have it back to her in 1 hour.
You hear? 1 hour.
Next, she drops off Anastasia's breakfast, and she too hands her laundry and gives her the same demand. And then finally, she drops off the last one to her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, and she gives her laundry as well. Every time, by the way...
How much clothes are they wearing? Where they constantly need all this laundry? I said this too. They're always like, do the mending. And I'm like, what?
What needs to be mended?
Right? Like, what are you wearing?
And why are you doing that?
Right.
It needs to be mended.
Exactly. Like, so aggressive every day.
Yep.
I don't know.
Also, while this is all going on, every time Cinderella enters one of their rooms, Lucifer tries to sneak in to find Gus in the plates, but he gets blocked by the door every time. So Gus is in one of these rooms. We just don't know which one yet.
Yet.
Well, eventually we hear Anastasia scream from her room as Lucifer waits outside her door to find an escaping Gus. Anastasia runs to her mother to rat out Cinderella.
Because, of course, Cinderella did it on purpose.
Do you like that one?
What?
Rat out.
Oh, you're funny.
That was pretty good.
Pretty cheesy.
Yeah. Nice. And tell her...
Mice.
That's it. That's it for the We Watch Disney podcast, everybody.
We're going on tour.
Anastasia runs to Lady Tremaine and tells her that Cinderella purposely put a mouse under her teacup as a prank.
I would have been like, fuck yeah, I did.
Yeah,
What are you going to do about
it?
it?
Was dressed, so who else could it have been? She does all the mending.
That's true.
And before Lady Tremaine calls Cinderella into her room, Cinderella's able to shake down Lucifer and finds Gus, who takes it as an opportunity to get away. Lady Tremaine here is voiced by Eleanor Audley, who does not have a long list of Disney roles like the other talent at this time, but she has 2 very noteworthy ones. One is Lady Tremaine, and the other one is... Anyone know? Do you know?
I feel like once you say it, I'm going to be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
She's also Maleficent.
Oh yeah, I did know
So
that.
2 pretty big roles that she has.
You
2
did
pretty
say,
big.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You called it. You said exactly what you were going to say.
I know me.
Lady Tremaine is laying in her bed petting Lucifer, glaring at
Yeah, there's
Cinderella.
actually a meme of that.
Yes, there
You guys
is.
have seen it?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to grow up to be this, but then instead I grew up to be her.
And that is me.
Yep.
Except I'm not as angry. And my cats don't have like evil. My cats aren't evil.
Cinderella starts to speak, and then immediately Lady Tremaine is just like, shut up.
I know.
She scolds Cinderella and orders Cinderella to clean the giant carpet, wash the windows, the tapestries, yada yada yada. And when Cinderella tells her
Just
that,
did them.
yeah, that she already did them, Lady Tremaine says,
Do it again.
that's right.
And she's like, since you have so much time for practical jokes, you can. I mean, she's got, no, it's logical thinking.
It's just the wrong.
It's just, not nice.
Well, also she didn't put the mouse in the teacup.
I know.
We then transition over to the castle for this film. Maybe it's just me. I don't think the castle in Disney World and this castle look anything alike when you see
You
them.
know what I just found out on one of the vlogs that I watched? That the back side of Cinderella Castle in Disney World is actually the front side of Cinderella Castle.
I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain it because I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
picturing the castle in the kingdom, and I don't
Wait,
think
there's a castle?
there is. Yeah, you have to. It's hard to find, but it's there. But they don't really look alike. Maybe that's the confusion. Maybe you don't realize that that's the castle from Cinderella, and not another castle
I've never seen a castle.
at all.
Any castle.
Okay.
What do you see at the end of the road?
Honestly, it's just like a big open space.
Like an open space, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you can see the mine carts in the
Yeah,
back?
yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm getting Mandela here. Maybe there is no castle. I don't know.
Imagine one day, like, they just take it away. And it's
No
like,
castle.
there hasn't been a castle here in years.
The whole theme park is gaslighting.
What's
me
a
into
Cinderella?
There's a castle there.
Talk about what's it called?
Mandela.
Talk about a Mandela
I just got
effect.
Mandela.
What's a Cinderella?
What are we even reviewing?
Oh, he was just looking at you.
Inside the castle, we meet the king and the Grand Duke. Both characters are voiced by Louis Van Rooten.
It sounds like
Very royalty-esque, right? Yeah. The king is quite angry, and he tells the Grand Duke that it is time that his son finally settles down and takes a wife.
Shit.
I just want you to know that this guy is also a villain. The king is also a
I
villain.
know. He's awful.
Mm-hmm.
He's so like my way or the highway.
Yep.
He's so mean to the Grand Duke, and he's so like,
I know.
you are my son, and you will do this.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways. Carry on.
The king and the prince have grown apart from each other over the years, and he's become lonely in his castle. He wants to hear the pitter-patter of little feet
And what
throughout
did
the halls.
And what did you say?
Get a dog.
Yeah.
Did they say where the queen was?
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't.
DEA dead.
I mean, I assumed because
Why is
it's
everyone
Disney.
dead? Everyone's dead in this
got-
film.
everyone's-
During this period, nobody lasted past the age of like 25, so...
They all
Except
got
for the king.
smallpox or polio or whatever.
The plague.
Ebola. Mad
All
cow
those
disease.
mice running
Yeah,
around.
and
I'm
then
sure.
and they don't like cats. Cats like helped.
I know they
The
helped
plague.
stay. Yeah, but that's where like witches kind of That's a whole thing.
I know.
That's a whole history lesson that Toy is not going to get into today.
Damn it.
The Grand Duke suggests perhaps it's not so bad having the prince be on his own until he finds love himself. The king hates this idea and instead hatches a plan to arrange a meeting between the prince and his future bride.
Every eligible maiden.
The prince is returning home today from war, maybe, I don't know.
No, from a hunting trip.
Did he say where?
No, but I just assumed he was like on a hunting trip.
Oh, I thought he was like in a war somewhere or something. But whatever. The prince is...
War.
I don't know. There's always a
Didn't
war
they say it
going-
was a peaceful kingdom?
Yeah, but,
Yeah. War.
but not a war in the kingdom, but maybe somewhere in France.
Like an ally.
Yeah.
Like the revolution?
outside of
Yeah.
the kingdom.
French Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1950?
What?
What year is this film?
Well,
Oh,
it's not-
1950. I was like, what
It
now?
take place in
I don't know.
1950.
You don't know that.
Listen.
I'm pretty sure it's not 1950 current day there. All right, you die on that hill. Go for it. The prince is returning home today, and he decides that they will hold a ball in his honor to celebrate the matter, and coincidentally also invite every eligible maiden in the land to attend.
It's a little sus, if you ask me.
Back at Cinderella's chateau, Lady Tremaine is playing the piano while Drizella and Anastasia are taking singing lessons.
Oh, this was my favorite song.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sing, sweet nightingale. How did you like her flute playing?
I don't understand how her finger got stuck in the
I
hole.
know, right? I was like, they're buttons.
I know.
not,
I was like, I
yeah.
don't understand. Maybe it's like a wooden
So
flute.
she's
a
playing a
recorder.
recorder, yeah.
Well, no, those you hold this way. She was,
holding it that way. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was a piccolo.
Yeah,
No, my
buttons too,
piccolo
though.
had buttons
Long
too.
piccolo. Mine did too. You're right.
By the way, the voice of Anastasia, also Tiger Lily in Peter Pan.
Why did I think you were gonna say Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods, yeah.
I didn't know that about Tiger Lily, but that's probably because Tiger Lily has like
Two
one
lines.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Just saying.
good to know.
Interesting.
So the singing lesson begins, and they're singing our next song, which is "Oh, Sing, Sweet Nightingale," and they are a little off pitch.
Butchering
Well.
it.
Just a little.
Tried. It's not everybody's born with a nice voice. It's
I
not
mean,
their
I
fault.
get that, but then I just don't.
But
sing.
what are they born good with?
You
Big
know,
feet.
Big feet. They'll be good swimmers.
They'd be good clowns in a circus.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they have some kind of redeeming quality that wasn't showcased in the movie.
I'm sure they're very funny.
Look at
However, downstairs, as she mops the floor, we hear Cinderella singing the song, and she's a little better than...
And she's in the bubbles. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, you
I
get
love
the-
the
It's
bubbles.
very similar to the Dumbo scene, I think.
That's
Yes,
what he said.
that's what I said, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it because when she's in the bubbles, and there's like multiples of her voices.
She's harmonizing with herself.
Yeah.
And I actually...
You know how hard that is? No.
Well, but I actually saw too, like at this time, you don't get a lot of this in music. So like this becomes more popular of like harmonizing different like keys
Yeah.
due to this. So
Maybe this scene is what cost so much money. Because
Maybe.
this scene did seem pretty intricate.
Yeah, it was. You're right. Very
All
colorful.
the colors, yeah.
I mean, you can kind of understand why a lot of the animation probably did cost a lot of money because it's a lot different than anything they've done.
You're right.
So, but suddenly there's a knock at the door. It's an urgent message from His Imperial Majesty. Cinderella returns to the screeching upstairs and delivers the urgent message. Lady Tremaine reads the letter out loud and says that every eligible maiden is to attend the ball
First
being held.
mistake.
Yeah. The stepsisters are ecstatic, but so is Cinderella, thinking that includes her as well.
Well, why wouldn't it?
Why
I would
wouldn't it?
assume that too.
But the stepsisters mock her, and Lady Tremaine mockingly tells Cinderella that she can go to the ball if she finishes up all her chores, and if she has anything suitable to wear. Thinking at least that what could Cinderella possibly have
See,
to wear?
now
this
that's
ball?
not fair because her daughters didn't have something suitable to wear, yet they got to go.
Well, they had dresses made that were quote unquote suitable to wear, but they're thinking, how could Cinderella possibly have anything? They don't buy her anything.
Yeah, like just rags. Like she's not gonna wear rags.
Jokes are funnier when I have to explain them.
Oh, I thought you were
I was
being
insulting
serious.
their outfits.
Oh.
All right. Well, wouldn't you
It's
know
okay,
it?
it didn't land. It's fine.
That's all right. Well, wouldn't you know it? Cinderella does have something to wear. Her mother's old dress. Cinderella decides to modify the dress into in the sleeves and make it more suitable for the ball. But she can't get started on any of this because Drizella and Anastasia call out for her to do more chores preoccupying her.
And they hate all their clothes, by the way.
Yes. The mice remark on poor Cinderella not having a minute to herself, which starts our next song, which is the
don't
work
know where
song. I think it's Alex. This was your favorite of the whole. Yeah, you're bopping already. Okay. Cinderella, Cinderella, night and day, Cinderella. By the way, don't know if we mentioned this, but the mice are like Alvin and the Chipmunk voice.
Yeah.
With the squeaky voices. Yeah.
I found it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. The mice hatch the idea to make the alterations on Cinderella's dress for her. They get to work sewing, and the birds come in to help as well. Leave the sewing to the women, the mice say.
Yeah.
You go get the trimming.
It was funny.
It rhymed.
It was very
It was
clever rhyming.
1950.
And if you think about it, I'm not gonna let Michael sew something, but I would let Toya sew something.
I think
Why?
Michael could do a decent hem.
Why wouldn't you let me sew something?
Fat fingers, no offense.
What does that mean? I just got that little hook
Yeah,
in
but
that
you
thing.
need like to be very like.
I just got that little hook in that little hole.
You don't know how to sew. I have to sew
How do you
stuff
know?
for you. I know how.
Yeah, huh?
I learned it in home ec.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well I never
Do you know
saw
how
you
to
sew
yeah,
anything.
mhm. Okay.
Next
I
time
bet
you
you
need
didn't know I
something
didn't know how
sewn,
to
don't
type
do it.
too until you see me that I could type.
What? You can't type.
I
This
can
is how
type.
Michael types.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You are smoking some good stuff if you think
That's
that's
how
how
you
I
type.
No, it's not.
I've seen you type, Michael.
It's really not.
He's a terrible typer.
Get the
Anyway.
keyboard.
Get the
Go on.
keyboard.
I don't have a keyboard.
Get the keyboard. It's right it's over there. Get the keyboard.
So you go over there and do it.
Go type right now.
What do you want to
Hold
type?
Anything you want. I don't care. Just type. The quick fox jumped over
The
the
right
ground.
Hi,
way,
hello, my
Ellie.
name is Michael. What is your name?
He's faking it.
I don't know. That looks pretty legit.
Should I open up my computer?
Ah.
Should I sign in?
He looks pretty good.
Why did it take you so long to type hello, my name is Michael?
And I said, what is your name? With a question mark. Just so you know.
Okay. Sorry, I take back what I said.
And it wasn't.
When I sign in tomorrow, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to email it to you and let you know.
It's gonna be like TY.
Did it come up?
Well, it typed into my password.
Did it actually though?
Well, I mean, it's, yeah, you can see all the dots there for my
Nice.
password.
Michael's like, let me go erase that.
No, it might have like one or two error, but that's because I was looking at you guys.
Anyway,
Well, you
But
pa-
it wasn't.
that's how you type at home.
It's really not.
Well, you passed my typing test. Thank
you.
Very good. Downstairs, Cinderella is taking more chores from the stepsisters, separate from her regular chores. But before she leaves, Lady Tremaine informs her that when she's done with all of the stepsisters' chores, she has some for her as well.
Yeah, I don't know how she had the time to do all of this stuff and still be ready to go to the ball. Like, I know that the mice helped her with the dress. It's still a lot of chores to do in one day.
Well, she's probably, at this point, very seasoned and probably very good at doing chores.
Also, I really kind of fail to believe that like house needs cleaning of certain things every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she probably was like, yeah, I did it. And
Plus,
Lady Tremaine wouldn't know any better.
They're not walking around checking her work, so she probably just said she did some of this, but really, you know,
like
I
the
cleaned
dishes
it 5 times
and the
already.
laundry, like but like, did she really dust like the 5th bedroom? I don't know. You know.
Yeah, did she really do the tapestries
Like,
again?
we have a 5th bedroom here?
Just saying.
Sheesh. The stepsisters struggle to find an outfit for them to wear, and one of them throws down a pink sash in disgust, to which the mice decide to retrieve and bring it back upstairs. Lucifer is here, though, of course, and as the mice sneak around trying not to wake him, he wakes up, and we get another cat and mouse chase. They also grab a beaded necklace that Drizella threw down and escape with that as well.
Yeah, but I mean, like Gus almost didn't make it.
Gus almost never makes it.
But also, like, so what annoyed me about this scene was, like, so he breaks the necklace by accident, right? And he's trying to, like, string all of the beads on his tail.
This is
but,
the
like,
infamous anal beads.
right? Yeah, but the hole in the wall is right next to him. Just throw them all in.
I know.
And then hop in and then pick
do
them
it.
up. Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
like, come on now. Work smarter,
Smarter,
not harder.
Back upstairs, the lady mice are altering the dress and putting the finishing touches on Cinderella's pink dress, including pink bows and a pearl necklace. By the way, do you like this dress better than her
Yeah.
ball gown? You like this one better?
Oh, then her ball gown.
Yeah.
I thought you meant then the original.
Like, which one of Cinderella's dresses do you prefer?
I like the fairy godmother's dress.
Okay, we're all in agreement.
This
All
one's
right.
okay. And also, it wasn't a pearl necklace. It was that beaded necklace.
Beaded
Yeah.
necklace, I'm sorry. It was not pearls.
Dan.
Damn it, Dan.
At the castle, the clock has struck 8 p.m., and inside the castle, many of the guests and maidens have started to arrive.
And this prince is just, like, bowing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Did
It's like, can we get so with?
Yep.
Did anyone take a look at this clock, by the way?
Well, it said 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Or did it say 9?
No, it's 8 o'clock, but it has the Roman numeral 12 twice.
Oh.
The 11 is 12. And for 4, instead of, you know how in Roman numerals it's IV, they just wrote I.
That's kind of funny.
Sometimes you'll see that.
Oh, so that's... Okay. I was like, this clock is all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see that.
Okay. But I don't
weird.
think you'll see the 12 twice. I think that's a mistake,
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. But, you know, maybe AI made it.
too. You know what? That is something AI would say. Yeah. That 1950s AI.
Yeah, right.
Back at the chateau, the carriage arrives to pick up Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters. Cinderella informs the bunch and Lady Tremaine.
And she's like, oh no, you're not ready?
Yeah, she looks
Bitch.
upset that she's not ready, she's not dressed, she can't go to the ball. And
Ho.
Cinderella even says she's not going to the ball because she hasn't had time, she's got nothing to wear. And she's kind of defeated and walks up to her room. The three are very pleased with their plan as it's worked, and they tell her good night.
They're walking, bopping with their feathers bopping and their butts
The
bopping.
boobies
Yeah,
be
why
bumping
did
all
they-
around.
Yeah.
What's so big?
Well, actually, that's a very specific garment
It
that
makes
goes
them-
underneath your
And
dress.
it holds the dress up to make them look
And
big.
I know this because I'm on, like, weird vintage garment TikTok.
You are on so many fascinating TikToks.
I am. I'm what? Somehow
Yeah,
I'm
but, like, was that the style to have a big booty?
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
booty.
Somehow I'm on Eartha Kitt TikTok.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know who Eartha Kitt is?
No.
Okay. Well, you should look her up. She's interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, but like the point is I don't know how I got on her ticket. But anyway, yes, it's a garment that goes and it enhances your booty.
Interesting.
It's supposed to like enhance like the waist, right?
Yeah.
Because girls with bigger waists produce better children. Type
That
of
too.
Now they just inject that shit right into your ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Cut out the
do.
middleman.
BBLs.
Cinderella returns to her chambers upstairs, upset that she will be missing out on the wonderful ball. Just then, though, she sees a glow coming from the corner of her room. It's her mother's dress, which has been updated by all the mice and the birds, and it looks beautiful. Cinderella's in love with her new dress, and she rushes downstairs to catch the stepsisters and stepmother before they
She
leave.
didn't even shower.
Like,
Like,
do her hair, no
yeah,
makeup.
nothing.
I mean, she did do her hair, but
But she's just stinky in that pretty beautiful new dress.
I mean, she showered in the morning, I guess.
Yeah,
Let's
but
be
she
real.
cleaned all day.
I guess.
Let's be real. They're all stinky this time.
Yeah, like if that's the way they're taking baths and showers,
Yeah.
then they probably all smell.
It's just a whole land of just smelly, gross. Yeah.
Do they even have plumbing?
No, probably not.
Where do they go to the bathroom?
Chamber pots.
in a hole in the backyard.
No, the chamber pots, and then you dump them out the window.
I like how she always says these things as if I'm supposed to know. She's like, the chamber pot, of course.
You don't know what a chamber pot is?
No.
Sometimes I feel like people should just know the things that I know.
No.
Okay,
I
well,
don't know. I don't know that. I don't know who that other lady is. I didn't.
what? Oh, Eartha Kitt.
You don't know the War of 1783?
And the other thing that was on Notre Dame, what'd you call it again?
A flying buttress.
A flying
Okay, no,
buttress.
not you guys, but Dan should have known that because we were in the same class. We learned about it together.
I forgot half the stuff I learned in college.
Okay, but like
More than that.
we like laughed about it because it's called a flying buttress,
That's
and
pretty
also
funny.
our professor spent the whole semester on them,
Oh, okay.
like the whole
It was supposed
semester.
to be like an inside joke between you two, and you failed.
You failed, Dan.
I did.
He fails every time. This
You
actually
failed,
comes
you
up
failed
more than
Alex. You made her
think.
yell at you.
Yeah.
You
You're just like
Sorry, Dan.
striking out today.
Hey, I'm just doing the best I can over here, right?
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You're just you're pitying that because you feel bad.
Yeah.
So
kidding.
Drizella and Anastasia are angered and shocked to
Because
see.
the things they didn't want are now they suddenly want.
Well, they don't notice at first. So this is Lady Tremaine's doing.
Yeah.
She
so
calmly walks
conniving.
over and she's commenting on how lovely her dress is, and she comments on how lovely the sash is. Don't you agree, Anastasia? Or how lovely the necklace is. Don't you agree, Drizella? And they realize it's their stuff
No, I
on
know.
Cinderella. I'm just
That
explaining
they were
what
like,
happened.
I don't want this anymore, and like threw it out in the
Yep.
hallway, and they were like, none of this will do. And now suddenly the
Yep.
sash and the beads are like,
Well, they think Cinderella is a thief, and
little
they
does she know.
Right?
their response is to claw at Cinderella's dress and rip everything off of her that's there.
Feisty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the time they're done with her, Cinderella's left in a ripped, torn apart dress that
Literally
is in no
rags.
shape to go to the ball.
Literally rags. I would have shown up like that.
It'd been like they did it.
Yep. Would have been like, yeah, and this is not acceptable to you.
Oh, interesting. Do you think the prince still would have fell in love with her?
No.
Or did he fall in love with the presentation of her?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
gonna
he
last.
only saw her from afar, and that's what got him.
Yeah,
If he saw her like in her rag dress, he would have been like, ooh,
God.
who let that in?
that's a marriage based on looks. That's not good.
Oh, they all are.
Well, Michael says I catfished him for the first like year that we or two that we were dating, not about looks, but just about my craziness. He swears I was so normal, and I don't know how that's
I don't know
possible.
that's possible because she had a lot of like.
I feel like I'm very open about my crazy.
So the three leave, and Cinderella runs out into what would you call it? The garden?
Sure.
The
Backyard.
backyard, crying.
The yard.
She breaks down and kneels on a bench, sobbing, and we then hear a reprise of the chorus from A Dream is a Wish That Your Heart Makes.
Well, she's saying that there's nothing left to hope for anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, she remarks how that's not true and there's no use in dreaming. Magically, an elderly woman appears on the bench, and now Cinderella is crying in her lap. It's Cinderella's fairy godmother, and she comforts Cinderella, telling her that if she lost all her faith, she wouldn't be here.
Bullshit.
Got her there. Let's see.
That could
Got
just
him.
be a lie.
Could be.
I love the fairy godmother. She
Yeah?
was probably. I think she might be like one of my. She might be the best part of the movie for me. I think it's just nice she was able to just make her little wishes come true. I don't know. I get that. Like, imagine you have like I don't know. I just understand. I understand wanting to make people happy and like help them and use your magic for good, not evil.
Oh, so you want to be a fairy godmother?
Yeah.
My grandma wanted to be her favorite movie, Cinderella, and she morphed from being like she felt like she was Cinderella because she like, you know, just had to take care of everyone her whole life. But then she morphed into when she became a grandma. She's like, I'm the fairy godmother, and I'm like, I mean, okay,
You say
sure.
so.
Yeah, I'm like,
Can't make pumpkin into a carriage, but
Yep.
okay, grandma.
whatever, grandma.
Well, the fairy godmother is voiced by Verna Felton, who I think we've discussed before. She's also Mrs. Jumbo, Queen of Hearts.
Maybe that's why I liked her.
Maybe. And other people as well. The fairy godmother informs Cinderella that she can't go to the ball looking the way she does. She magically makes her wand appear and introduces our next song, which is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Very good. It's a song largely consisting of...
Very good.
Well, it's very good.
It was just funny the way you said it. Very good.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, it's all nonsense words, so... Yeah.
I don't know.
The magic words.
So, she first turns a great big pumpkin into a beautiful stagecoach.
It was
Beautiful.
such a nice pumpkin, by the way.
By the way, Stagecoach you can also find in Disney World, right? Don't they have it
Yeah.
for weddings?
They take it out
For weddings.
sometimes. They took it. I have a picture of me when I went a few years ago in front of it,
Oh. Where was that? Like where?
behind the castle.
Ah, very cool.
They do use it for weddings, so you're right.
Yeah.
She then turns the mice into her horses for the evening, and her horse, Major, he gets a break from being a horse for a day, and instead is turned into a human coachman that's going to drive the carriage. Bruno is next, and he is turned into the human footman to open the door for Cinderella at the ball.
Wait, so,
I loved that.
Yeah, that was cute. But wait, so in this scene, so Lucifer's coming after the mice before they're horses, and he like tries to catch Gus in the bowl, and then they're turned into the horse, and then he lifts up the bowl, and then Gus like neighs at him, right, and he runs away. But there's a little trail of magic that follows him, and it's off screen and you don't see. But I want to know what Lucifer got turned into.
It's true, because the next time we see Lucifer, it's the next day, so
Yeah.
he's already turned back
Yeah,
by
so
that
like
point.
clearly he got turned into something, and we don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
Hopefully stone. Some kind of stone
Damn.
creature until the
Hopefully
next
he's
day.
dead.
And just so
Yeah,
he
Jack.
can't ruin it for her any more than those people already have. Those evil stepmother and stepsisters and stepkitty.
The last piece of the puzzle is Cinderella's dress. The fairy godmother sizes her up before turning her torn shreds into a beautiful silver and white ballroom gown with a tiara and glass slippers. Silver and white,
Not blue.
not blue.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. In the film, they just made it silver and white, but they felt like for promotional reasons, like blue would be more like eye catching, I guess, and like associate like a color with her. So
Why are you telling me like that? Like I didn't tell you that the other night when we watched it.
you told me that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
why'd
I
you say
found that
that?
very interesting, Dan. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank
And
you,
thank you,
Alex.
Toya, for having that knowledge.
Like, are you
Thank you,
kidding
Alex.
me, Dan?
Well, why'd you say
Also,
Oh, I found my picture. Here's the stagecoach.
yeah, so pretty. He said it so matter of factly, like looking at me as though like it was brand new information for
Damn,
me.
son.
And I'm just like, sir,
I'm just gonna cut all that out.
I'm
These are soft
gonna
nons.
kick your
So
butt.
sorry. I was like, I shook my head no before she even did it. I'm like, you're not gonna like
Remember
that.
COVID?
I'm sorry. COVID's not funny. The photo Hillary is showing
Hillary's
us is
showing us
funny.
a photo of Pirates of the Caribbean, and she's sitting alone in the back with 3 rows in between her and the couple in front of her. She's just off in the distance.
It's not funny though.
It's not the picture. It's funny.
The picture is funny.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I want to
Loaded a car.
look
What
up
test track?
dress in the movie because I don't remember noticing like anything different. Like I wasn't watching it and saying like, oh, it's not blue, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, let me see. Sorry, Dan, you can
You can
keep
get
going.
No, that's all right. To note, this animation of the dress transformation is said to be Walt Disney's favorite piece of animation ever, done by the studio.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. It's very well done.
And very
And the
sparkly.
sparkly, yeah. I was trying to see like this. They did a good job with the sparkles, like for what they could do. They
No,
did a good job.
There's a good reason why this is his favorite. It's very, very well done. It still kind of holds up. I feel like.
That's what the whole budget went toward.
Yeah, this one
Some
shot.
glitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, perfect. $2 billion.
Before she leaves for the ball, Cinderella is told that this spell won't last forever. In fact, when the clock strikes midnight, the spell will be broken and everything will return to the way it was before.
I wonder why. Like it's already 8 o'clock.
Well, actually, by
It's
now
probably-
it's like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
later because
She only gets like 3 hours.
I know.
You know.
To get there, do her thing,
Yep.
get
And
back.
then get home. Listen.
Yeah. At the ball, we meet the prince, who is being introduced to potential wives from all around the land.
why did Lady Tremaine go? I didn't see any other stepmothers there.
He said that too. He was like,
I
"Is she
wondered that.
eligible?" And I'm like, "I mean, technically yes." 'cause
Can you
she's
imagine
not
if you
married."
fell in love with her?
No. And then Dan asked me what a maiden is, and I had to explain that.
A young person who can be wed?
Unmarried virgin.
Okay.
Hmm.
So clearly not someone who popped out 2 ugly step witches.
That bitches.
Damn.
Unless she's the Virgin Mary, but that's the story
Maybe she
for
adopted them.
Christmas.
Maybe that's why there's no husband. Maybe she adopted them
Maybe.
through her company's adoption assistance program.
Well, shit.
Keep going.
Excuse me. He politely bows to each one of them, but it's clear that he's not very impressed with any of them. He's openly yawning in one of their faces.
So rude.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at his dad like, oh.
Yeah, the king and the Grand Duke are in like a balcony up ahead. They're like watching over everything. And,
So weird. The king
yeah.
is so,
Right?
like, I'm telling you, he really is a villain. He's like so mean to everybody. Like, they have to do what he says.
I know. Well, he's the king.
No, I know, but like, the stuff that he says is ridiculous. He was like, we all have a ball. And then the Duke is like, sure, when? He's like, tonight. And he's like, wait, tonight? Are you fucking nuts? Like, tonight?
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of remind you of Jasmine's dad?
A little bit. Sultan.
And also, why are they so short?
I don't know.
They're old.
For some reason, Disney, like, a lot
Always
of the
had short
fathers
kings.
are always, like,
Yeah,
short and,
and
like,
same
big.
with like Belle's
Yeah.
dad and stuff. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, like
exactly.
why, like just because you're like I don't know,
Our
40
position.
doesn't mean you shrink down to
Yeah.
half your size. Is that osteoporosis, Disney? I don't know. Like I never thought of it until now, but cool.
Just King Triton's not like that.
Yeah, he's,
No, he's
he's
not.
also a sea creature.
He's a
yeah.
Michael's horrified.
Maybe he has little legs. You don't know.
he has little legs.
Yeah, maybe.
Just two little stubs.
Is that- he's,
Jack
he's
body.
He's only big because it's a tail, okay?
Maybe he's like Cotton Hill, like Cotton from King of the Hill. Do you know who Cotton Hill is?
No, I was
It's-
going to say he's got the Stewie Griffin legs.
Oh yeah. Well, Cotton is Hank Hill's dad, and he got his shins cut off.
He got
in
his
the
shins
war.
cut off in the war, right?
Yeah, so
That's
he
funny.
just like, and he just walks like this side to side because he has no
God.
knees.
Well, the king grows more and more frustrated with his son's dismissals.
Climbing over the fucking balcony, gonna kill himself.
Yeah, but Cinderella has now arrived to the ball late, but makes her way up the
Late?
stairs. She's late.
No
yeah.
shade, Dan. Late.
Late.
Horrible guest. Right? Like, didn't bring anything either.
I know.
She makes her way up the
I am
stairs.
Cinderella.
Drizella and Anastasia are now introduced to the prince, and
He rolls his eyes at them.
the king scoffs. He's like, "Woo!" Like,
Yeah,
Hey,
you
you're
see-
far away, fucker. You can't even see.
That's how bad these two are. Like
I know.
from a distance.
so mean.
Yeah, it is pretty mean.
It is.
I mean, they're hideous.
Come on.
The prince bows to them though, and he sees behind them in the distance Cinderella has made her entrance, and he's immediately just blown away by her.
And she's like looking like, where did I go? Like, where is everybody? Bitch, they're all right there.
Yeah.
He practically pushes them to the side to get
Yeah.
through them.
He does.
Excuse, like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's so rude.
Yeah.
What was interesting is that they didn't touch on this in this movie, but they do in the live action. That Drizella, Anastasia, and Lady Tremaine are like, who is that when they
Oh
see
yeah,
her?
because in the live action one, they put like a thing over her, like a spell on her face where like nobody will recognize her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's supposed to be that, like, she's always every day in, like, drags and, like, not
Oh,
dirty.
so that's why
So,
they
like,
don't
and now
recognize
she's
her.
all, like...
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, like...
Done up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Also, they couldn't get like a good peek at her. Like
Yeah,
they
they're,
kept
like,
like
peeking
getting
through the crowd.
Yeah, like they couldn't get a look at like her face, so they couldn't really tell that it was her.
Okay.
The
Oh
prince...
yeah, you're right. That is definitely not blue. That is definitely silver and white.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't notice. Sorry. Continue.
The prince takes Cinderella's hand and bows to her before asking for a dance. The king and the Grand Duke are intrigued by the mystery woman, not knowing who she is or where she came from, but they order for the waltz to commence at once. And by the way, we've been saying the Prince of Prince of Prince. He's more commonly known today as Prince Charming, but he's not referred to that at all in the film. He's only just referred to as the Prince. And I think the name Prince Charming kind of stuck all these years later because they already had the Prince in Snow White. So to kind of differentiate the two and make it less confusing, one's Prince Charming, Cinderella, the Prince is Snow White.
It's just stupid because in Snow White, she talks about she's like one day my prince will come and he'll be charming. So like you would think he would be Prince Charming,
Right?
And then to make
Wait.
matters even more confusing, in Once Upon a Time, the TV show, the Prince is Prince Charming.
Yeah,
And I don't even know what is Prince Charming from Cinderella even in Once Upon a Time?
he is, but his name is not Prince Charming.
Oh, okay. Have any of you seen that show?
Oh my god.
It's a pretty good show.
I feel like Alex would really like it, but it's like a lot to invest in because it's a lot of seasons and they're like hour-long episodes, and I feel like she would like.
Oh, that's okay. I watched Glee and there's.
What's it on?
It's
Disney
on-
Plus
Yeah, and Hulu.
and Hulu.
Watch it on Disney Plus.
So that crazy bitch from Harry Potter. What's her name again?
Yeah.
Helena
Bonham Carter.
Bonham Carter.
She's the fairy godmother in the live action.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what the fuck's her name in Harry Potter again?
Bellatrix
Bellatrix.
Lestrange.
Yes. She's the fairy godmother.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Oh yeah, in the live. You never saw the live action one?
I've seen it only once, so I don't remember.
We need to watch it again. It's really good.
And the prince is Robb Stark,
Yeah.
King of the North.
The King in the North. Which none of you understand because none of you watch Game of Thrones.
I understood the reference. I know that the name from that show.
Just don't get it. Our friends don't like any TV shows that we like.
Alex probably likes some of them.
I'd watch that,
I
but
watch
I just
weird
never.
shows. Like
Didn't you
King
watch
the
Game of
Hill.
Thrones?
I started to, but then like I never kept up.
There's a lot of sex and death. What else do you want?
See, I like the death stuff is what freaks me.
The sex stuff is what freaks me.
Like, I don't like to see, like, lots of death.
So, the...
I'm sorry. Just your segue sometimes. Just
I don't know what else to say. Like, we're just moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
The waltz begins, and Cinderella and Prince Charming share their dance with dimmed lights in the castle. The king decides, well, now's a good time to go to sleep with the ball going on in his castle and everybody from the town attending. I'm going to go get some rest.
And he's like, "Wake me up when they propose." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Bro."
I know. Well, back then, you know.
He leaves the Grand Duke in charge and tells him to make sure his son and his new love interest are not disturbed and to inform him when his son proposes.
Or else.
If something goes wrong, he will kill him, apparently.
Yeah, like this is what I mean. He's a villain.
Yeah, well.
With the whole crowd watching, the stepsisters and Lady Tremaine remark how they can't identify the woman, but she does look familiar. As the couple waltz their way outside, they just like dance their way out of the ballroom to like the
They want to
backyard.
be alone.
The Grand Duke draws a curtain down to give them some privacy.
You can't just walk through the curtain.
No, there's just a wall there. I can't get past this. Yeah.
Shit.
Our final song of the film then plays, which is "So This Is Love," sung by both Cinderella and Prince Charming.
Ooh.
Yeah, duet. The scene and this song is probably I don't know, is this the most popular song from the film or is that Bibbidi Bobbidi?
I think it's a bitty bop.
Bibbidi
Yeah.
Okay. The two of them are sharing their dance together. They then walk together outside the castle, into the garden, over a bridge. They walk here, they walk there, they walk
To
everywhere.
grandmother's house we go.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
The mice know the way
Yeah.
to carry the pumpkin.
Finally, after walking around the grounds, they end up on the backyard balcony together. And as they're about to share their kiss,
Dong.
the clock tower in the distance rings. It is now midnight.
Fuck.
Cinderella realizes the spell is about to end, so she abruptly gets up and tells Prince Charming that she has to leave to his protest and confusion.
Goodbye.
She's like, "I haven't met the prince yet."
So that's the thing too. She does not realize this whole time she's been dancing and falling in love with the prince.
I think she's an idiot.
She thinks it's just
Yeah.
some guy. Which, by the way, I don't think there's a single other man in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, is she really, like, come on now.
Yeah.
You know better. Come on, Cindy.
But the whole point, I guess, they're trying to get across is that she didn't fall in love with his status. She's falling in love with the man, even though they just dance
Yeah.
really.
His dance skills.
And his dancing, right?
How did she know the moves if she was always locked away?
It's a waltz.
You're supposed
She's
to
just
know a waltz.
she's just following his lead.
She's a woman. She's submissive.
We'll dance one time. We'll show.
I don't know. So you,
I'll leave.
I'll follow. I'll be the. Okay.
Do a waltz clog. Step shuffle, change steps.
She rushes through the castle, leaving with Prince Charming pleading for her to stop. She makes her way down the castle stairs, and her glass slipper falls off her foot the second time this has happened in the movie.
Bastard.
She goes to retrieve it, but the Grand Duke is now chasing her as well. Cinderella decides to leave the slipper behind just to get out of there,
And somehow run on one heel and one flat foot.
Pretty impressive.
but the Grand Duke retrieves it. He's the one who picks it up. Her carriage makes it out of the castle, and as the Grand Duke orders the King's Guard to chase after her. They race all throughout the town until finally the spell breaks. Her carriage is turned back into a pumpkin. The mice are turned back. Major and Bruno return to their original forms as well, and they hide in the trees off the road to lose.
And then the
King's Guard.
pumpkin gets trampled.
It does.
Yeah, it's so disheveled and kind of depressing to look at.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that sucks. Squish pumpkin, back in her ripped rags, dog. You know, everyone's back to normal.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a dog.
No.
Yeah, but he got to be a human for a day.
I'd rather be a dog.
Yeah, you know, I think I'd rather be a cat. Specifically one of our cats.
So they lose the King's Guard, and Cinderella apologizes to all the animals, saying how she lost track of time, and
they're like, I don't give a single shit.
Her other glass slipper, though,
Remains intact. I think it's because they were separated.
Yeah.
Maybe. I thought it was like the fairy godmother just like throwing her a bone. Like,
I mean,
it's
maybe
something
that
to remember
too.
the
I
night
thought
by.
it was
Maybe.
just like
say.
a loophole, like a plot,
Like a oops.
yeah.
Maybe.
You know what?
She does look up to the sky and say like thank you.
Oh,
like,
so maybe it is a little like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Something to remember the night by. Yeah. Back at the castle, the Grand Duke wakes the king up from his sleep to inform him that the woman has escaped.
And this man's bed could like
Oh my
house
God.
the whole kingdom.
Yeah.
They could all sleep in that
He's
bed.
also really
Huge.
small though, so.
I mean, yeah, but still.
And then he loses his shit.
Yeah, so the Grand Duke has trouble getting it out. The king assumes that he proposed. The king even pulls out a sword, and he's going to knight the Grand Duke on a job well done. But when the Grand Duke informs him that she's actually not here and they lost her, this sends the king into an absolute rage. He starts swinging
Villain.
the sword at the Grand Duke.
As if it's his fault.
Traitor, treason, sabotage.
He's a villain.
It was very dramatic.
The Grand
They
Duke.
start bouncing on the bed.
Yeah.
That was funny. Into the chandelier.
Yeah.
The Grand Duke tells the angry king that all they have from her is the glass slipper. And the prince is madly in love with her, and he won't rest until he finds her and marries her.
Well,
Which
no one else in the kingdom has her size foot, so you know.
Apparently.
very, very unique. Everyone's got big old feet, you know, that's clomping around with. But this calms the king down. The king then comes up with another plan. Since they still have the shoe, the Grand Duke will have every eligible maiden try on the glass slipper, and if the shoe fits, bring her in.
Right now, go do that.
Yeah, literally. That's what I mean. Like, he's such a fucking villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he thinks this shoe only fits one person. I think he thinks the first person this
Yes.
fits. Bring him
Okay,
in.
but the reality is, it only fits one person because she's the last
Perfect
one.
fit, no?
Yeah.
You know, like no one else got the shoe on.
It's true.
I agree though with Dan. I feel like the king is like the first bitch that can get her foot in that
Cram her
shoe.
foot into this shoe.
You bring her back here and they're getting married today.
Probably.
So the next morning, Lady Tremaine wakes her daughters and informs them that even though they didn't sway the prince, they have a second chance. Nobody knows who the woman was, so if the slipper fits their feet, they will be the prince's bride by the king's command. Mm-hmm. It's a logical plan, except for the fact that won't, like, Prince Charming, like, not fall in love with them again? Like, won't he take one look
Like,
at them?
yeah, and be like, who the hell are you?
Yeah,
I think the king doesn't care.
I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. Cinderella hears the news as well, and
She starts fucking humming
she's in a
and
trance.
dancing, idiot.
While they're like,
Drops
piling
the
laundry.
tea. Yeah, and they're like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" And fix all my clothes because I gotta wear every piece
And
of
then
clothing that I own
Lady
today.
Tremaine clicks.
Well, it's at this moment also that
Shrewd lady.
Cinderella realizes that she was dancing with the prince all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is brand new information.
She dances and waltzes her way down the hallway and up to her room to make herself ready for the Grand Duke's arrival, but Lady Tremaine has now put two and two together.
She locks her in.
She realizes that it was
vicious.
Cinderella last night that the prince fell in love with. And driven with jealousy, she realizes she must not let Cinderella try on the shoe. Lady Tremaine follows Cinderella up the stairs, with Cinderella combing her hair and her back to her door. Lady Tremaine sneaks inside and locks the door and takes the key with her so she can't get out.
So mean.
She puts the key in her front pocket so she's safekeeping.
Yeah, and she pats it like just to make sure.
Jock and Gus make it their mission to get that key and retrieve it from Lady Tremaine.
Good for them. I just love how like Jacques and Gus have become like besties, even though Gus is like the new kid on the block. You know.
Very accepting community.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Grand Duke then arrives at the chateau with the glass slipper. Lady Tremaine presents her two daughters to try on the shoe. Again, he's horrified at their appearance. As the Grand Duke is reading the decree to the women, Jock sneaks into Lady Tremaine's pocket, and he gets the key, but he's unable to escape with the key as Lady Tremaine sticks her hand in her pocket to make sure it's still there.
I'm sorry, you said grand dude.
Grand Dude?
Hey.
Yeah,
The dude.
the Grand Dude.
I'm a dude.
He's a dude. He's a dude.
World dude, yeah.
They made a sequel to that.
They did?
Yeah. Anyone see it?
I didn't see it yet.
Okay.
I thought you did see it, no?
Second one? No.
I want to see it. It's probably terrible, but I want to see it.
They keep trying.
Good Burger.
They keep trying to bring Good Burger back, and I feel like it's just not.
See, the thing about Good
Gotcha.
Burger, the first movie, is that wasn't good either. But it
It was funny.
But it was fun if
It
you were a
was
kid.
funny.
Like,
As a kid, it was funny.
when you go back and watch it adult, you're like, oh, this movie's terrible. But
First time I
Yeah.
seen it, I had to go to the library and rent the VHS from the library
Wow.
to watch it.
yeah, with Mondo Burger.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It was like a 10-pound burger
and
that they were
it
selling.
was an orange VHS too, which was funny.
Yes, Nickelodeon used to do that.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Anastasia is the first to try on the slipper, and pretty funny visual gag here. She says, "Oh, look, it's an exact fit," and then when they pull up her dress, it's literally
Like
just her
7
toes.
fold. Yeah.
That wasn't
She had a huge ass foot.
Yeah, that really. She was kind of smart. Just take a look.
Perfect fit.
And the Grand Duke has fallen asleep because he's been doing this all day and night. So while he's asleep, Lady Tremaine tries to get the servant foot guy to like
the footman
to like squeeze
Guess my
her
foot must be swollen.
into the shoe, but it doesn't fit. They even get like a hammer. They're trying to
She
like
comes
hammer
up with
it.
really good excuses. She's like, after you've been on your feet all night dancing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, she has a point.
Mhm.
Like,
does,
she
'cause
does. have a
sometimes
point.
that does happen.
Yeah.
The
The-
worst thing you
Happened to
can
Michael with his flip flops.
the worst thing you could
Yeah,
do
right.
if you're out for the night is take your shoes off and then try to put them back on.
Mm-hmm.
As they're trying to hammer on the slipper onto Anastasia's foot, Jock and Gus manage to sneak out with the key, and they drag it up the stairs step by step, one at a time. No, he's fine.
They were very determined. The way they were just
Yep.
One step at a time, they're
Yeah.
just dragging it up there.
lots of steps.
They finally reach the top of the stairs, and as they're about to give Cinderella the key under the door, Lucifer appears and traps
Dick.
Gus under the bowl with a key.
So close.
So
Right there.
wait, did you guys know that in the original fairy tale that the stepsisters hack off parts of their feet
I was just gonna,
Yeah.
go
to
ahead.
try to get it to
Fit.
fit? Yeah. One of them hacks off their toes. Don't shoot that.
Well,
other
I know
one
the
hacks off
original
their
is like
heels.
darker. Like,
Yeah. And then at the end they get their eyes pecked out by birds.
good.
Nice.
They probably deserve all those things.
I mean,
They're just kids.
They're assholes.
All the mice try different ways to free Gus from underneath the bowl and attack Lucifer. Cinderella asked the
See
birds.
butthole. Sorry, go on.
Michael,
they ask the birds, "I see butthole."
Michael, pull your pants up, would you please?
Sorry, got excited.
Cinderella asked the birds to get Bruno outside, and they do so. Back inside now, back down, trying on the slipper. Drizella, it's her turn. She's having trouble as well. She squeezes her foot into the slipper, but it's clearly not a fit.
She somehow bent her entire foot.
It's literally
It's like Chinese book binding
Yeah,
or some
and
shit.
I'm like,
I don't know.
ma'am, my foot doesn't do that.
And her foot comes undone, and the slipper goes into the air, but the Grand Duke catches it, causing
With
it.
a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bruno makes his way back into the house and chases Lucifer away.
Yeah.
And even gives him, I know he doesn't actually die, but he gives him the classic Disney death of falling to his death. He falls out the window to his demise.
How do you know he doesn't die?
I think you see him, don't you?
I only know this because in Cinderella 2 and 3,
Yeah, I know he's
Lucifer comes
there.
back.
I know.
But I guess in this movie, you're
don't
supposed to
know.
presume he's dead.
I mean,
They
he's a
have
cat.
9 lives.
Cats have 9 lives.
And cats tend to fall on their feet, too.
They do
land
tend
on
to land on their feet, yes.
Yeah.
But from that high, he might have broken his little feet. I don't know.
But he might have landed on them, though.
Yeah.
With
He wouldn't have fit. His feet wouldn't have fit in the slipper. He might have broken his feet too.
True.
With Gus now free, the mice slide the key under the door for Cinderella. And downstairs, the Grand Duke is preparing to leave after another unsuccessful trip until he hears Cinderella calling out for him from the top of the stairs. The trio try to persuade the Grand Duke not to try the slipper on her, but he has orders to try it on every eligible maiden.
He's like, listen, my life is hanging in the balance. Okay? Like, this bitch is trying on this shoe.
I will die if I don't come back with somebody. Cinderella takes a seat, and the Grand Duke calls for the slipper to be brought over, and as the servant is crossing the room, Lady Tremaine sticks out her cane.
She is so
Do you think that it's
nasty.
because Lady Tremaine knows that it's gonna fit her? Or she
I
just
think
doesn't-
she,
Yeah, I think she
she
knows.
put 2 and 2 together and realized that Cinderella is the one that was at the pole.
Yeah.
So she knows it's going to fit. She trips the servant, causing the shoe to fly in the air, and it crashes at the feet of Cinderella and the Grand Duke.
And Cinderella is so calm about it.
All hope is lost. The slipper is broken.
Duke is freaking out. He's like, I'm gonna die. I'm dead.
Not only will we not know if Cinderella's fit would fit, but every other eligible meeting that she hasn't gotten to because there's no slipper anymore.
I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be the last ones. So.
Why?
Why?
I just that just is the feeling that I got.
Okay.
I too got the same feeling. So I understand.
Okay.
Like, to me, I'm like, wow, they must have been going at this all day, and now they're like
Yeah.
at the last.
Last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They never said it, but that's
No.
just the feeling I get.
Yeah, that's the implication I got.
But the smoking gun, Cinderella has the other glass
Would
slipper.
it help if I had the other slipper?
Locked and loaded. Where were ya?
She has the other glass slipper, but I love that they're still not sure. They still make her try it out.
Maybe she killed the other girl and
Maybe
stole
you found
it.
this somewhere, yeah. But it fits, and Cinderella is now going to be the prince's bride to be.
It's supposed to be a perfect fit, right?
Yes.
Perfect fit, yeah.
How come it fell off?
What?
That's always the question. If it's a perfect fit,
When
why
she
is-
ran,
It's
why
all
did-
these like holes in the plot.
Well, I
Like-
think that it was done so that like they had a way to find her.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like, I have shoes that I would say fit me perfectly, but if I'm running around in a
It
heel,
should be
it's gonna
perfect.
fall off.
Yeah, and there's probably not like it's made out of glass.
Yeah, like you're up and you're running
It's
down
probably slippery. Your
stairs.
feet
like-
are
You ever
sweating
run
in glass.
heels, Michael?
Yeah.
made out of
A
glass.
few times, actually.
Have you ever ran in glass, Michael?
I mean, on glass. Barefoot.
You know.
We then...
Probably slippery. Imagine the blisters you get.
Oh,
I
God.
know.
Yeah.
No cushion. Like,
Yeah.
think
Do you think there was a good arch support in there?
you know, probably not.
She got some, like, Dr. Scholl's.
Scholl's.
Yeah,
Dr. Scholl's in
inserts.
there. Yeah.
But you would see them because it's glass.
I know. And you could just see, you know how like you can feel in a heel that your feet are just like smushed in like a very unpleasant way?
I bet-
They probably looked like
I know.
all
And
fucked
the
up.
thing that sucks about those shoes is you have to have a pedicure because then you see your toes.
Yep.
I bet when she took off those shoes, you remember those commercials with the little green monsters?
Oh my god.
Like,
Yes.
those living underneath their
For the
toes.
toenail fungus or
Toenail
whatever.
fungus
yeah.
ones up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
We then fast forward to wedding bells and see that the happy couple is married off.
And she loses her shoe again.
Runs down the stairs, and for the third and final time, she loses her shoe, and this time the king retrieves it and sets it back on her foot, and she gives a little kiss on his bald head. And he turns red. His whole
does.
head turns red.
He does.
Like a tomato.
Yep.
The like a tomato. The two saddle up in their carriage, and together they ride off into the sunset, happily married, as the film concludes with a reprise of "A Dream Is a Wish That Your Heart Makes." And our final shot is the two kissing in the back of the carriage. We return to the storybook from the beginning as it closes shut. The end.
And they live happily ever after.
They do.
That was,
Nobody thought.
that was cute. That was cute when I like it.
Closing thoughts? Anybody want to go?
I love Cinderella. It's a nice classic.
I love it too. I don't think I grew up watching it a whole lot because I was a boy, and you know.
What is that supposed to mean, Dan?
Not,
Back in our day, you know.
hang on. I'm saying that my parents, for whatever reason, did not show me princess films
Well, also
because they
like,
probably didn't show
yeah.
an interest in them. That's really what it is.
Yeah, like, and it's not like you had Disney Plus that it was so accessible to you. Like, I watched it
You'd
on
have to buy the
VHS.
We had
VHS.
everything
And
on
a brother.
VHS.
Yeah, so
It's
like,
not like you had a
why-
sister that was
Yeah.
watching
That's right,
it, you
yeah.
know?
I don't have a lot to nitpick. The only negative I really have is I'm not really a big fan of the whole cat and mouse chasing around. Like it gets a little, it's very Tom and Jerry like, and it's very just like
And
chaos
for-
and just there's not really much to say. They're just running around. They're crashing into this. And
And
crashing
it's so redundant. How many times are they going to do that?
And it feels a lot like the shorts that we're getting away from that we don't want to do anymore, like Donald and Pluto.
Right.
running around. But other than that, I think it's a visually stunning movie. I think the animation is very well done. Musically, I don't think there's any weak songs. I don't think there's
I
really.
like all of this music.
Yeah, I don't really think there's one that you can point to
Yeah.
like that's the worst song. They're all good in their own right. I also think Lady Tremaine is a fantastic villain.
She's a bitch.
But I think she's a great villain because she has no magic powers. She does not have a monster-like appearance. She doesn't really do any sort of violence.
just
so
mean.
She tripped the guy.
She tripped the guy.
But she's just really
She doesn't
just
like kill people. Yeah.
she's just
She's
cold,
petty.
that you
manipulative
know of.
that you know of. But she's just cold, manipulative, and like very smart.
Yeah,
and
she's
very
shrewd.
calm with
She's
everything.
shrewd,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's just a very different
yeah,
villain.
she's a smart villain.
Well, and it's very different than any villains that they really have.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that was really well done.
Until we review the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're kind of similar
True.
in that vein. That's true.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Does this mean Alice in Wonderland is next?
No, it's not.
What
They're
is-
still working on it.
Well, does anyone else have any
Till
other
this
thoughts?
day?
on-
I'm sorry.
Well, so I wondered,
Shut up,
like obviously I know the storyline of Cinderella, but if for somebody watching this for the first time, I feel like when you're in like school, you learn like that there's like a problem and like the main character has to try to find a way to solve the problem. Like what was her problem? And like she wasn't trying to solve it. It was just like a story of how things happened. You know what I mean? Like
her
the
problem was
storyline
she
wasn't very strong.
Didn't have love.
But I
think-
understand her point because like that her problem is the life that she's living.
And she didn't like do anything.
But other people kind of solve it for her
like the mice, you mean?
and the fairy godmother.
Well, I think
We
the
all need a
thing-
little help from our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think that like her like trying to solve it is just like being optimistic and trying to like look on the bright side
The
and
hope
hope
that
that
she has.
hope that one day
Right.
like things will change, because there's ultimately, what is she supposed to do? She's a woman who is unmarried, has no male like person, right? She has no father, she has no father figure or guardian, so she literally is just like poor. She can't own land, she can't get a job, like she can't do anything.
And also the idea that like good things come to good people because
Yeah.
like let's just say, do you think Lady Tremaine has a fairy
But then I
godmother?
just mean like that's then what's the story? What's the hook to draw you in? It's like, well, if this bitch isn't doing anything, what am I watching this for? Like, what am I waiting to happen?
Well-
like if she was like, okay, I'm gonna run away, then you're waiting to see what happens when she runs away. But there is none of that.
Well, I think they're trying to grab you with like her kind and good nature and being somebody that you want to see.
So you don't like her as a person?
No, I don't really like Cinderella.
Oh, see that because
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, which a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah,
but I
for
think
them.
what they're trying to go for is they're trying to make her somebody that you can like root for, and that like she's a good, kind-hearted person. You want to see good things come to somebody like
Right.
this.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, Cinderella's like not a character that I would want if I ever had kids, to like daughter to look up to, or son, whoever, whatever, to look up to, because it's like, yes, I want you to be a good person, but like that's not really how the world works. Like, yes, good things come to good people, but like not always. You gotta kind of work for some things to happen for
well,
you.
if you want to play that game, mermaids don't exist either. So
No, but
I'm
like,
just saying.
I'm talking about character-wise.
No,
You don't,
like,
you don't
your
get to hang out with rats
your
and,
personality.
and birds.
I'm just
personality.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you can still have, like, a line drawn with, like, fantasy and, like, reality with these movies. Because, like, if you're going to use that as an example, like, that's in every single Disney movie, right? Like,
Right.
there's always an element of, like, unrealistic stuff.
It's supposed to be.
I just feel like she didn't really have much personality other than being a nice person.
I think
And
that's fair.
All of the other like Disney princesses were nice. I guess that's really what it is.
I guess you could also say like she's she's an animal lover as well. She's
always
caring,
kind
she's
to
a
other people, even people who
caregiver.
treat her like crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Knows how to clean.
she's in control.
Mend.
She no mend with her.
She's in control of the other three's
Cook.
food. She does not kill them. She
This
could.
is true.
Self-restraint.
I would say overall though, as a film, like this is a return to form for Disney, and like I feel like this is what going forward. This is what they're going to strive to like replicate. They may not do it, or they may do it, but this is what they're aiming for. You know, as far as like the overall storytelling, the music to go with it, and the animation. This is like kind of like their benchmark that
Yeah.
they're setting.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll find out if they continue to do so.